Welcome to this video on how to create automatic train traffic on any EEP layout with Lua. In the new version 2.3 download, there's a new demo included called Peace River. Inspiration for this layout came from an image that I once found on the internet. That's this image, and it is a layout designed by I don't know who, and it was called Peace River. And well, I thought this could be a nice project to build in EEP with a couple of changes. One of the obvious changes is that there is now this train depot here at the north to store a lot of different trains. And another change is that all the track is double track. Besides, for this loop here on the south, that is single track, and that's where the trains will have to fight, so to speak, for their turn to get on that track. The complete layout, by the way, is included in the zip file, and the link to the download is in the description. Okay, so first step to create automatic traffic is to split up the whole track into blocks where trains can stop. Logical place for blocks, of course, always are the railway stations, and this is one example. The station here in the south that has a signal here for the trains coming out of that single loop, and the entry of the block is this contact. And then if the train is halted here, it's a station, so passenger trains have a scheduled wait time. We will see in a minute how that is done. And cargo trains, they don't have to stop here, so they can move on. And if the signal goes green, then the train moves to the next block, and this is the entry sensor of the next block. There are a couple of special blocks. The whole train depot, the tracks are all two-way blocks, which simply means that there is a signal to halt the trains in both directions. Here's a signal and here's a signal. And of course also the block entry sensors, there are two of them. In both directions you have one of these sensors. There also are dead end blocks, a couple of them. This is an example. Train comes running in here. This is the entry contact, and then it is stopped here by a signal. This can be a invisible signal, which is usual here at the dead end. You never have a signal in reality. If you would like to have a visual signal for the train to leave, that the location should be over here, you can place a visual signal here, and then you simply couple that signal one-on-one to this signal, because this is the signal that is controlled by Lua to release the train, and then this signal over here will just be for eye candy. When all the track is laid, signals are placed and contacts are placed, we can place some trains. That's just a straightforward job. Place a train, give it a name, give it a speed, and it will drive to a red signal where it will stop. So over here we see 5 trains that have been placed. 14 trains are driving around on this layout, so I placed 14 trains like this. Everything is in place now to start the code generator. We have track laid, sensors and signals placed, trains placed. Let's go to the website. The link goes in the description, and over here via choose file we load the file that we just saved, and then we get an image like this. Next step is open another browser tab, go to the code generator link that also goes in the description, and click this generate button. it will create the code, the Lua code that we need to control this layout. And this is part of that code. This code is automatically stored in the clipboard, so we don't even have to copy it. That's already done. Over here there are next steps listed, so we just have to follow what it says here. It says go to EEP 3D mode and paste this code over there. Well, let's do that. Okay, 3D mode. Yeah, I opened the Lua script editor via this icon, and now I can simply paste Ctrl V the code here in this window and then reload this script. The script is now running once, and what it does in the background is create the Lua functions that we need to put in the contacts. That's the next step, so let's do that. And for each and every contact that you have on this layout, this is one example. This is the contact that belongs to this signal. This signal is number 57. What we need to do is put this function call here in the contact, and that function call is block control dot enter block underscore and then the number of the signal where this contact belongs to. Do this for every contact, and yeah, it's totally not difficult. The only issue might be that you can forget one or you accidentally use a wrong number. If that happens, things may go wrong, so please be careful and concise in doing this job. Alright, now comes the creative work. We have to decide which trains we want to allow in which blocks and also how long we want them to have a scheduled stop. What the Lua code generator does is it allows all the trains in all the blocks, and that's usually not what you want for any realistic train traffic. So I created a couple of tables, and every table has a name. This is the counterclockwise passenger train table. And what I have to do is mention the block numbers and the wait time in those blocks. Well, this may seem a little confusing, but it is really simple. This is what you do. You have a look at your layout. Here we have the train depot. These are all the signal numbers over here. And to no surprise, they are exactly the same numbers as these one, 52, 53, 54. And in every block I want to allow the train and give it a 30-second waiting time. So that's done over there. Then the train starts driving. We drive right-handed, so we have the outer curve here. And then we end up here at this signal 38. And that is what is in the code. Signal 38 at the station. We are going to wait for 30 seconds. And so we follow the whole track. We go in the south loop, and that signal is out of view, but over here is also a signal. Then we travel on, and I want the passenger trains to go on these two tracks. So these two are at the station, 47 and 48. So let's have a look. 47 and 48, yeah, there they are. 47, 30-second waiting time. 48, 120-second waiting time. Yeah, why not just play a little bit those numbers. And then we have 3 blocks to return to the depot station. Let's have a look if that is correct. We are over here, we are driving this way. 1 block, and then another station block where we probably have a waiting time scheduled, and then a 3rd block, and then we return at the train depot. That's just one table, and well, as you can see, I also created a table for counterclockwise cargo trains. I want them to go on a couple of other tracks. And then the same for clockwise passenger trains, clockwise cargo trains. And a shuttle north, that is the the cargo trains that are going to drive here back and forth between these dead ends. But every now and then they can also make a complete round, and then they end up here on this track, they end up here at the dead ends again. So that's a funny schedule where two short trains are going to drive on. This is the creative part. You have to do this yourself. Nobody is going to help you. Just fill in these tables with what you want to happen. The next step, once we have created these tables, example counterclockwise passenger, then we need to allocate some trains to it. So that's then where we go to the trains table, the trains table over here. Then I have 4 trains that I want to run on that counterclockwise passenger schedule. And that is how you do it. Here you link the allowed blocks table to the table you just created. Well, that's all there is to it. This table was created by the code generator, so all the names and all the other stuff is in. What you could do is give every train its individual signal as an on-off switch. In this case they are all 0, which means we don't use any switches. If we put the main switch on, we simply want all the trains to start running. Of course you can change it. You can place 14 signals and then have every train have its own on-off switch if you like. Okay, we're done editing. I did this editing in Notepad++ just because I prefer that as an editor. So now I have to copy the allowed blocks tables and the train table to the EEP script window. So copy this and then go to that window and paste that table over there. And then finally reload script. We are ready to give it a try. Here we are in 3D view. I just reloaded the script and after a while it says it has detected 14 trains, which is perfectly okay because we have 14 trains. I have these automatic camera switches. Let's go to the camera menu and switch that off such that we can be the boss of the camera. And well, let's simply switch that main switch on and see what is going to happen. Well, here's one train that is already moving on. It's a passenger, it's a cargo train that was on this station, but the cargo trains never have a waiting time on those stations, so that went on as the first. The other trains are all standing still over here and there because they all had waiting times. Yeah, this one is now on the go. That's nice, and then I suspect that others will follow soon. This one is also started. It's a shuttle that shuttles here between these dead ends, and this little guy here is also a shuttle for these dead ends, but they can make a circle around every now and then. They do that. Well, yeah, let's have a little wait. What is going to happen next? No train can leave here because this little guy is in the way. And no guy can leave here because the single track here is occupied by this very slow driving cargo train. So everybody has to wait. We'll see. I think this cargo train will not have a stop time over here, so it will move on, and that frees up the station, and then one of these trains will leave. Yeah, there it goes. It saw that the single track was empty. So as soon as it has passed this turnout over here, then one of these trains is going to make a move. That will be right now. Yeah, there it goes already, one of the next trains. It's all random, so you never know which of the trains is going to drive, and that is the whole fun of it. Yeah, now our steam engine over here is going on the move, There's one free track here for the passenger trains. We have 2 tracks in that direction. So it is going to this track number 2. We can already anticipate that. Well, yeah, this is the fun of automation. You have a layout that you like, and then yeah, the trains are going to drive fully automatic in exactly the way that you want them to drive. They only go to the blocks that we allowed them on. We can see this little guy over here is now making the move back to the shuttle area. So that's where it is going to end up now, and yeah, you never know how long it is going to shuttle, because there's only one way out, which is this track over here, one way out. It is now going to that track, but it can also reverse on that track, so you never know what's going to happen. It's all random. Well, maybe just for fun we can drive along with a train. Now what's that going to be? Click that train, click, and then camera, this camera. Yeah, we are now following this train with our drone camera, so to speak, or helicopter camera. Well, let's see where it ends up. Yeah, there is a little bit of scenery on this layout, some stone bridges and some hills and some trees. Well, that's of course always fun to do, to make nice scenery, but that can be quite time consuming. But there are examples of really beautiful layouts to be found on the internet, some videos of people that do astonishing work with EEP. Some people even have projects going on that they are working on for 5 years already, I read on the forum. So, well, this is how it works. You lay the track, you place the signals for the blocks and the sensors, the contacts for the blocks. Then you go to the code generator, it creates the Lua code, and then the creative part is we decide which trains are allowed in which blocks. And that's all there is to it. Let's click that train and move along with this little guy. It again moved out of its shuttle area, but yeah, that's okay, it's allowed to, so it did that, and that's quite fun. Well, what more is there to say about the automation? Yeah, nothing. This is how you do it. It's actually totally not complicated anymore. You don't have to know anything about Lua. All you need to do is create those allowed blocks tables. Isn't that fun? Right, we're going into this tunnel now, so let's stay above the ground. Yeah, there we go in the bend, and then we get to the depot area again. Yeah, there we are, out of the tunnel into this depot. All the tracks, that's work by Frank. He included these double slip turnouts, so all the trains are now able to drive in the depot both directions. I originally designed it such that there are 5 tracks in one direction and 5 tracks in the other, but this makes it more random, yeah, more fun to watch. Also see that train bend over all those junctions. Well, this was it. Let's switch camera back to the control area again, and then yeah, we may have a couple of more minutes of watching what happens, why not, and then we call it the day. In the meantime, until the next video, of course, always have fun.